Hello everyone, this is Serge from GoToNoob.com. I'm going to be talking to you about the new God of War game. It's going to be coming out in about 7 days, but we got it early and we played through it for a couple of days, and here are some information about the new combat system in God of War. New God of War gets rid of hallmark ways to fight enemies and introduces several new combat mechanics. Those yo-yo double blades on a chain? Gone. Overcomplicated super fast combos? Those are gone. QuickTime events during boss fights, finally gone. You might ask yourself if this is still a God of War game then. It is, and we'll showcase how the combat works in this latest addition to the series. New style of combat is the Leviathan X. You get to use it from the very beginning of the game, and it will be useful for both fighting enemies and solving environmental puzzles. It has two modes, close combat and a ranged one. You can use it to slice and dice your enemies with light and heavy attacks. There will be combos you can unlock for it via upgrades. The interesting mechanic is that you can actually throw your axe for ranged attacks. Once you throw it, it will embed itself into enemies or pin them to surfaces. It is also capable of freezing easier enemies. Once it's thrown, you can press triangle and it will return to your hand, damaging everything in its path on its way back to you. The axe feels mighty, and the lasting impression that it's very similar to Thor's hammer and Mjolnir. Another thing that I would like to point out is the tactile feel of your controller and the action on the screen while you use the axe, because the rumbling of the controller and the action on the screen is so in sync that you really have this powerful feeling when wielding it. You've thrown your axe at an enemy far away, but that Draugr is close by and he begs for a pummeling, right? Worry not, because Kratos is not defenseless without his axe. This is a perfect time to use your fists for some close combat goodness. Oh, I so wanted to say godness. It's a pun, you see. Goodness, godness? No? Never mind. Using fists starts a stun meter under enemy's health bar. Hitting them with your fists or legs fills it up, and once full, you can do a finishing move by pressing R3. Different enemies die in different spectacular ways, and that is why this mechanic will surely have plenty of fans. You're a fan of a more defensive way of play? Worry not, because Kratos has a shield that you use to block enemy attacks. When done at the right time, a block turns into a parry that you can follow up with some great offensive action. Complementing the blocks is dodge mechanic, and you'll be jumping out of harm's way almost like you're playing a Dark Souls game. The star of the new combat is your son Atreus. Little rascal is excellent with a bow and will be of great help during fights. You can command him to shoot arrows to distract your enemies, and that will create openings for you to exploit. He's crucial when enemies you can't hit regularly need to be made vulnerable. His damage might be small at first, but he does fill up that stun meter quite fast. Later in the game, he becomes even more useful or powerful with special skills, and seeing the little thing jump onto giant enemies, choke holding them with his bow will make any angry Greek god proud. It's no wonder they call this game Dad of War. Combos, although not as intricate as they were before, are still present, and you'll be able to unlock them as skills or equip them in your weapons. This allows for you to have the exact tool that will fit your playstyle. These combos will help you do more single target damage, or you can choose to be more AoE centric or defensive, or like any true fan out there, go rage more often and more violently. While we're on the subject of rage, it's not gone from this game. Kratos still does his violent thing. This time around it's called Spartan Rage, and you activate it when the meter is full by pressing on L3 and R3 simultaneously. This sends him into a rampage mode where he uses his fists to pummel enemies, doing great damage and retrieving some health along the way. If you do a heavy attack, he will jump into the air, slam the ground, and do a large radius AoE attack with some knockback action. Whatever you pick and however you play it, I'm sure you'll have fun in the new God of War. Although slightly different from the previous games, the combat ultimately still feels very God of War-ish. It captures the essence of the series and is fun, brutal, and exciting. Thank you for watching and wait for April 20th for full noob coverage of the new God of War. This is the noob signing out. Please like and subscribe.